Hey friends, Sophie with Sprinkle with Soil here. I'm here with my best friend, Alicia Warnikov, here in Gatlinburg, Tennessee. Alicia has been super busy the last couple of days helping with the disaster relief efforts here in East Tennessee, but I just wanted to pop on and say thank you so much for all of your donations that have gone straight to Alicia. And Alicia, I wanted to have her give you an update on where the funds are going and what she's been working on.
Okay, so it started with a couple of families in Newport. We're in Gatlinburg, and so the first news that we got day one was of families affected in Newport. So we were able to get teams and funds and supplies up there very quickly and kind of get that knocked out. Then it turned into families that we knew were stranded up on the mountain. We didn't even know if they were dead or alive, and so once we found out that they were alive but stranded, we had to go in and try to work with that community to see what they needed medically, if anybody's houses were still standing, which most of them were not. So we're just trying to get them back on their feet, and even trauma care and counseling, things like that. So one community, we got helicopter support for that one community. Well, that helicopter support turned into 29 communities in 3 counties, and now we've got 3 helibases all the way from, we have one in Greenville, we have one in Brevard being set up that's operational today, and then there's one that we've been working for a week and a half now that has just moved up to Yancey County by Burnsville, which is the heaviest hit areas. And there are Avery County, Mitchell County, Madison County, Yancey County, so all the heaviest hit communities that are completely cut off from any other way in. So we're having to helicopter all supplies and anything they need, even meals, hot meals even, into these communities, doing helicopter drops. So the reason we're focusing on the helipads is because we don't know of any other way to help that many people who are the worst affected. So there's no way that we can send in teams. We did send in side-by-sides, and we did send in even horse teams, mule teams, but the helicopters we found were definitely the fastest and the best, the most effective way to reach the most communities at one time. And so one thing turned into another. We got hooked up with several different organizations have kind of come together, and we are calling ourselves Team A and Team B, and that's the Tennessee side, the North Carolina side, and we have people all over the country working on this now together, pulling resources, and we're able to kind of organize better and be way more efficient than if we were all on our own. So that's what we've been doing, just trying to help the heaviest hit areas. We've been getting lots of donations in, but we have lots of needs. So every single morning we talk to the flight coordinators. First thing, we get a new text, and we have the missions for the day, and we have the new supply list for the day. So sometimes we wake up and it's very specific needs, like goat milk formula for babies. Some of these babies have received formula, but they're not processing, and so we have starving babies up there because they need goat milk specifically. So things like that.
The yellow jackets.
The yellow jacket became, so the EpiPens became the critical item as of a few days ago. I guess the yellow jackets, wasp, hornets have all been displaced, and they're attacking search and rescue. They're attacking the stranded, and we've actually lost people to bee stings after all they've survived. They've been lost to anaphylactic shock. So the EpiPens became so critical that we actually started sending in helicopters to wherever we found them. So if we found 6 over here, we'd actually dedicate a helicopter to go receive those. If we found 10 over here, so these are people's basically personal stashes, and they can even be expired. Our medical teams have said even if they're expired, we can administrate them. So the EpiPens became the critical item as of a couple days ago, and every time we even find like a pocket that has like 6 EpiPens, we'll actually send a helicopter in to get those. And yesterday we had a few helicopters dedicated to go and pick up EpiPens because it was that critical of an item. The bees are just attacking, and a lot of these people normally they would just have Benadryl or EpiPens, but because they don't, you can imagine what kind of stuff is going on up there. Just with no resources, no way to call 911, no way to get somebody to an ER, and no meds. So camping gear is the next critical item. We've been asked for anything to survive from 5 to 12 months without electricity. So we're getting solar items, camping gear, propane stoves, charcoal, all those types of things. So you just have to imagine yourself being up there, your house has been swept away, you have zero resources, and now you're gonna have to be up there for months, potentially up to a year. Probably won't be that long, but 5 to 12 months is the estimate right now of basically living off-grid in the wilderness. So.
And are these helicopters private helicopters, or are they coming from the military?
Yeah, so we actually have no military backup right now as far as helicopters. These are all private, and up to now the pilots have been paying for jet fuel out of their own pockets. I know we have tens of thousands of dollars of just out of pocket each pilot. We have procured jet fuel at this point. We should have donations for jet fuel coming up and fuel stations being set up at our helipads, but that's being done between today and tomorrow. But we do have a Black Hawk, and we have what they call puddle jumpers, so very small helicopters that just are privately owned. A lot of them only have a 400-pound payload, so it's been very difficult just to load up very limited supplies and then having to do recon on the way there, drop supplies, do recon on the way back, and then it's actually time is of the essence, and then having to go, you know, all the way to Morristown or somewhere else to go refuel has been a huge waste of just fuel economy. So trying to get as many choppers as we can, as fast as we can, but we have expanded from 1 helipad to 3, so that's good news. And then we're actually calling for more helicopters all the time. We've got some fleets from different states coming in, but they are starting to need to rotate out because this is all volunteer time and volunteer fuel, and so we are going to need an inflow of just private helicopters. And yeah.
Can we talk about FEMA and how FEMA has been able to show up?
Or not show up. So the FEMA thing, so I've got a lot of questions saying, well, we're not going to send supplies because we heard that FEMA's just going to seize everything. So that has not been the case. Asheville proper is shut down to all non-government entities, and the airspace is closed to even our guys who want to fly through. They can't do that, so they have to, we're kind of working west and north and south. We're working all around the perimeter of Asheville area airspace and ground space because that area is off limits. And so we did have FEMA come into one of our distribution centers up in East Tennessee in Chuckey and try to seize the supplies there and send the volunteers home. And that's happened in a few different places, but there was so much kickback from our good old East Tennesseers, Appalachians, that FEMA actually left and they didn't seize anything. So,
but that's not the case for Asheville. They did take over Asheville.
Yeah, they took over Asheville. That is closed down. I know there was like a lot of recovery going on there. There was a lot of looting going on there. And so certain things are shut down because of looters. Roads are being shut down only because of looters, not even because of damage, and you have to get like permission to get in and out of some of these places. But yeah, FEMA's not on the ground where we are now, and we're actually just counting that a blessing at this point. Just we've got this.
Well, thank you so much, Alicia. And if you feel compelled to help out, donate, come and join Team B. Alicia is the person to reach out to for East Tennessee, North Carolina, Western North Carolina. There's some information here if you want to take a look into this is a drop-off area here at Alicia's store. This is the Painted Bear Coffee in Gatlinburg, Tennessee, and they are still open for business. And so come get a cup of coffee, drop all of the donations that you have, maybe even in your home. We did that right before we got here, and we made a stop at Walmart to pick up a few supplies, and it's Sunday, otherwise we would have gone to the thrift shop and picked up more camping supplies as well. But if you feel called and led to help, please reach out to Alicia. I know her phone is blowing up, but she is doing God's work here on the land and making sure that your funds will actually go to those who need it most.
Yeah, so if you go to my page, it's just my name, Alicia Warnicka. It'll probably be on her post. But I do post the daily critical the helipad request list. So every day there's a new list, and I just ask that you really focus on those lists. We don't need a bunch of cleaning supplies, or there's certain things we don't need excess of. So we're trying to focus very strongly on those lists so that we don't show up with things that aren't needed, that they don't have storage for. So that's every day that's new on my page.
Great. Thank you, everyone. God bless.